So let's take a look at where we left off. We have the ability to select letters, and it updates our word here, and it selects from both the alphabet and the word itself, which is kind of cool. And so let's do a windscreen. So in our canvas, what I'm thinking is I'm actually going to create an empty game object and just call this game. And this is like all of the game assets. And we'll take all of these and drop them under here. So I'm holding shift to select all these and drop them under here. And with the game assets selected, if I uncheck it, it turns off the game assets. And then I'm going to select the canvas here, go to UI and create another Text Mesh Pro object. And I'm going to call this Win Text. And we're going to make that pretty big. And we're going to position that in the middle. And I'm going to hit T so I can grab this and pull it out. And this text is just going to say, "You win." And I'm going to add a different material, and I'm going to stretch this out. And so it does something like that. And what I'm thinking is this will turn off, and then this will turn on. What is this word text? Oh, the word text is the word text, but the win text will turn on. So in our UI manager, we need a reference to this win text. So let's go ahead and open our UI manager. All right, to save some time, I went ahead and just kind of finished off the script. And so I'm going to go kind of like section by section with this. So let's take a look at our variables. We have a new variable up here called win text. And I'm going to save this, and we're going to go back in our interface here, select your UI manager, and then just grab your win text and drop it on there. I also right-clicked in my canvas, and I created an empty game object here, and I called it game assets. And what I did, I'll go ahead and do that again here. Is I took everything but my win text, and I dropped it under game assets. And so we have our win text here, we have our game assets, and in our UI manager, I created just an empty variable. I'll show you that in a second, called game assets, and I dragged it in there, and that's this one right here. So public game object game assets, and I dragged it and saved that. Now our start method looks a little different. We have our win text here, which we turned off, so like by having this right off the bat by typing false. If we save this, you can see our win text here is live, but when I press play, it automatically sets that activity to false. And it just makes sure that this game assets here is set to true, which means it's set to true. And remember, it's set active. All it does is it toggles this switch on and off here. And let's go down a little bit here. Now, this is different because what we're doing is we're going to be looking at letter for letter. So remember, letter spawner here has a word in it. It has current word. And this is where we have example and all. Remember this guy right here, letter spawner? And we type this word in here. I have just an A in there, but if I type in Alex for my first name, this is the current word. And so what we're saying is, if we have the current word here, which we do, Alex, and we have not collected all of the letters inside of the word Alex, go ahead and start collecting the letters. Now remember, as our player is moving around and the letters are falling, the letters get stored in this collected letters variable. Ours looks a little bit different from the last one because in the last tutorial we had something like this going on. Equals collected letters plus letter. Just when I was going back to revise the code, just subconsciously I always kind of go in and clean up and I do the plus equals and all the other stuff. Then it calls this method for update word display. And in here, we're just storing the current word from here, which is now Alex. And then we're just creating a word it's an empty string, right? But it's holding some sort of value or space. And then I created this new altered all letters collected Boolean variable. Remember, this is just the checker. So what this is doing is it's saying, have we collected all of the letters? if all the letters are true, I just set it to true right away, but it's actually gets switched immediately to false in my for each loop. Now, if you're not familiar with for each loops, this is kind of like a straight line way of searching. So we create a variable called what they can hold characters, just called C. Really, this could be called letter or whatever, but I just named it C. And what we're doing is we're going to go through every letter inside of current word, and we're going to store it in C. So every time this runs, A gets stored in C, L gets stored in C, E gets stored in C. But what's cool about this is we can use it as a checker. So as the letters are getting picked up or collected here, we're saying, hey, if we have not collected all of the letters, that means Alex, that are contained in C, because we stored the word in C, this is set to false. If we have collected all of the letters, that means we're just going back and forth and collecting letters. We're going to show this message down at the bottom here. And show message has two statements in it. One is turning off our game and then turning on the win text to be true. So let's go back up, running through this. So, we left off here. So if this is true, if all collected, that's what this is saying by just having the word in there is true. We're going to show our message, and then we're going to leave or return out of this because, we're going to jump out of this. That's what this return does. And we didn't do anything different here, and that's really about it. And then this is our reset, which we've never really called, but we'd probably call it if we have a new level. So let's shrink this for a second. I'm going to go ahead and press play. And let's go ahead and I'll try to spell Alex. So there's an X. There's an L. And there's a C, and really it's just checking. I mean, like it's storing them up. There's a Y. I'm going to just wait to get the letters I need, like an E and an A. Man, you might want to fast forward this part of the video until we get the A and the there's an E. Come on, give me that A. Maybe I'll change the spawn rate too. Change this to 1. There's the A. I clicked off before it was too late for me to move. Come on. There it is. Boom, you win. Now, we could build out the movement of this, but I think I want to move on to the platformer. This tutorial got a little long as it is, and I want to start something else that's cool. But this has a win scenario. Now, it's not a game should have a lose scenario as well, in theory. So if you're thinking about good game design principles, you could go back and save this and tweak it. This is a good challenge for you personally. And be like, hey, you know what? I want to figure out a way to store those letters that are being missed. And if he does collect a letter that's not inside of there, then it fails. But especially that might be too big of a task, especially if this is your first like kind of programming class or first foray into programming. But yeah, overall, like that's it for this tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed it, even though, there's constant rework. I'm just showing you my process as I work as well.